Hi everybody, AstroTarotJohn here, and this is your one-card tarot pull for January 22nd, 2026. And we've got the Tower again. 2 days in a row for the Tower? Wow. Okay, that's something else, which we'll talk about in a moment. This is the Hobbit Tarot deck for J.R.R. Tolkien or fantasy fans. This is a wonderful deck that I highly recommend if you are interested in either the fantasy genre or you're interested in Tolkien. This is a deck that I really like for those reasons. This happens to be the Tower card. We've gotten it twice in a row. So what does that mean? Well, for those of you who know anything about the tarot, it means that we should probably be very careful and tread quite carefully over the next few days. We're going to talk about that, but the Tower represents, as I've said before, the great equalizer. It represents the potential for a fall from a great height from an ego perspective. It can represent a crisis. It can represent shock and awe. It can represent unexpected change, not necessarily bad change, but the how of that change can be extremely disruptive, or it can come from places we don't expect. So what is it about the Tower that scares us so much? It's the manner in which the change comes. It's not necessarily the change itself. And once again, I'll say that the Tower isn't necessarily a negative card for us. It's just shocking in the way that the change comes about. So what should you expect for today when you get the Tower, in the Tarot a second time in a row? Well, first of all, I would expect plans to be disrupted. You're really going to have to go with the flow today, folks. Don't expect meetings to go as they should. Don't expect schedules to go according to plan. I would be very patient with everything that's going on around you. Expect people to be running late. Expect people to cancel at a moment's notice. Don't really consider your schedule to be your own today. I have a feeling other people may have other ideas, so keep that in mind. The second thing I will say today is that you may find that you or people around you are going to be prone to emotional outbursts. We all have them. Some days it's just really common for people to just let everything go and just throw it out there and say, hey, here's what's on my mind, in a very emotional way. Sometimes it can be a very immature way. Sometimes it can be in a scenario that it really shouldn't be happening. I've seen it happen in the workplace. I've seen it happen in meetings where one person just yells and throws another person under the bus. I've seen it where people make revelations in situations where they really shouldn't have in public, things that should have been said in private. I would expect with a Tower card that things like that could be happening in the workplace, but also, again, in our community organizations and in our homes. I would expect some emotional outbursts from people that mainly you wouldn't expect. And again, they can seem shocking because you didn't expect it. This could be one of those last straw kind of days for certain people. Like, I've just had it, and they need to let it out. Going on with that theme, a lot of times, when you talk about the Tower, you talk about Chicken Little. Now, the story of Chicken Little is that Chicken Little is runs around the farm and says, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. My third piece of advice for you today is to avoid the drama. You are always going to have people around you who are going to be saying the equivalent of the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Whether it's people in your social life who are always going to be worried about the next snowstorm. We have a snowstorm coming up here in Northern Virginia, and I already have people who are worried about it, even though it's 4 days away. Whether it's people in your work life worried about layoffs or who the next manager is going to be, or what direction they're taking your organization. Whether it's in your community organizations about who knows who and who's going to get preferential treatment and who isn't, to family life of who snubbed who for the holidays and where everyone's going to go this summer for their beach week and who isn't going to get to go. All of that, that's all considered Tower level drama. Especially if it's stuff you didn't know before. When people decide to spill the tea, a lot of times that can be considered Tower level drama. So expect that you're going to hear some tower level drama, and it's usually from the same person or people, but be aware of the effect that that will have on you. Try to avoid it as much as possible. One of the things that I used to tell people when I taught high school was that the best place to avoid as a high school teacher is the teacher's room, because that's where all of the teachers go to vent about their problem students, and energetically it was just a really awful place to be. So again, I'll repeat, be very aware of the drama that's around you. The tower can definitely bring that drama home. In any case, thank you so much for watching this video. This has been your one card pull for January 22nd, 2026. I look forward to seeing you again across my table soon, whether virtually or in person.